There's no knowing where we're going. What's the matter, babe? You haven't touched your horrors beyond human comprehension. Hi y'all, it's Elle. Welcome to the channel. I know I haven't posted in a minute. A shit ton's been going on, I'm not gonna lie. This year's got hands, and it's crazy because, like, all the previous years also had hands. So I thought, like, I'm good. I've been beaten up, like, for so many years now. I got this. And then 2024 came in and literally said, hold my beer, bro, and ooh, maybe it has been a struggle, but we're here. I'm queer. I don't know about you, but if you're here, I'm assuming you are, and if not, you're still welcome. So like I said, I haven't filmed in a minute, and that's been for a lot of reasons, mostly personal, but it is my favorite time of the year, as you can probably tell, and or it's coming up. Hopefully the plan is to post either tomorrow or Halloween, so hopefully this is up on Halloween or by Halloween. Fingers crossed. You got it, future me. I believe in you. I trust you. All of it. Hey, past me. This is future me saying, I got you, fam. So, yeah, hopefully this is up on Halloween, and in honor of that, I figured I'd go ahead and tell my own tattoo horror story and talk about what that process was, and maybe if anyone else is going through something similar, kind of go through what helped me and like what I would recommend you do. Granted, I am not a medical professional or, professional body mod artist, so take that, what I say, with a grain of salt. It's not like for you to do and follow step by step. It's for you to basically go ask one of those professionals to be like, hey, this is what I've been told to do, or what I think will help, what I found in my research, etc. What do you think? And get guidance from them, just to be clear. So I think the first part of what I want to talk about is the idea, or like maybe the cultural response, thinking, mindset around tattoos and like tattoo horror stories, or mishaps, whatever you want to call them, and just kind of address the literal elephant or tattoo in the room, and say that for all the media there is about the tattoo industry and specific artists and etc., clients, what have you, there isn't a lot of time spent on what happens when shit goes awry. And there's a reason for that, because A, it's not glamorous, it's not, good. Like, when things go wrong in terms of body modification, the consequences and the effects of that can be maybe not life-destroying always, but definitely life-altering in ways that, like, you as the client may not foresee, even you as the tattoo artist may not foresee for your work. Shit happens. Like, literally, things happen all the time. Things go wrong all the time. Even in the medical field, where it's supposed to be super safe and sterile, and like there's procedures, things go wrong every day because there's human error, there's germs, there's a million factors that all are part of, we don't live in a vacuum, and they're part of the experience of any sort of modification, whether that is plastic surgery or any kind of surgery, or tattoos or piercings, etc. And yes, there is content around, I think it's like referred to as like tattoo redemptions, or, there is some media around cover-ups. I can't remember there's another show, I don't even know if I should really mention it, that like has clients coming in and telling their stories about their bad, or sometimes like downright awful tattoos, and how they got there, and like the process of them covering it up, etc. So like, I'm not saying like that doesn't exist at all. It absolutely does, in terms of body modification content. I will say, in terms of like stuff that you'd find on a streaming service, let's say, rather than like YouTube, TikTok, there isn't a lot of conversation about what can go wrong, and like whether that's on the client or on the artist is a whole different thing. And I understand it, because in a lot of ways, if you're part of the body modification community, or if you like it, or adjacent or whatever, it's been a long, almost centuries long fight to get here in terms of mainstream body modification acceptance, and even appreciation. Like, I can tell you, I won't say my age, but as somebody who was around in the thousands and like, you know, was aware of the culture of that, like what we know now compared to what we knew then, so vastly different. It's beyond night and day. It's like, you know, when you're right and then you're wrong, and then you're so wrong you're not even in the same universe as rightness, you know, like that's how far away in a lot of ways we were in terms of our understanding of body modification. Literally the dark years. I mean, Claire's, I know Claire's is still a thing, but like that was how I got my first set of piercings, my second set. My first set was actually done when I was a baby, which I don't condone for a lot of reasons, but you know, didn't really have a say in that. And you know, it ended up working out because I liked my piercings. I liked having piercings, but different conversation for a different video. I got sidetracked. Anyhow, Claire's was like where you got your piercings when I was a teenager, and that's where I got my second set, and they were crooked before I stretched the piercings. So I've seen, at least from when I first became aware of it, how much the body modification scene has shifted. And I know even from like when I was alive in the thousands and 90s and so on, like it was so different pre-thousands, 90s even, compared to the, like, each decade before was so different in how we dealt with body modification. And like in the 90s, I wouldn't even say the 90s, I would say like maybe early thousands was when like tattoo acceptance started to creep in. Like you heard the like whispers and echoes of it, you saw the echoes of it, where like more and more people had tattoos in media. Some of them were awful, as you can see on Google, but you know, you would see more and more examples of like normal, regular, everyday people, not just criminals with tattoos, you know. And that is a big cultural shift. Like, I can tell you, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have been able to like have a conversation about even desiring tattoos. And I know it, like, I think I was 10 at some point. I like kind of was thinking about like, that might be nice once I get older. Obviously I wasn't thinking about it for like when I was a child, you know. If I'd expressed that to any adults out loud, they would have immediately discouraged me during the time period I was growing up, because like it was still definitely, the perception was only bad people get tattoos. And we're just kind of like, I know it was a while ago, I won't say how long because that'll show my age. The cultural shift in tattoos is still so new when you look at the history, the more modern end of history, because tattoos have been around since like I wouldn't say billions of years, obviously that's like mathematically incorrect, but for a long time, right? But like, it's really within, I would say, the last maybe 15, maybe 20 years that the mindset, culturally, at least in America, and I would even argue globally, has changed about like body modification. And not in every area, not in every part of the world, but a lot of people see it differently because of the shifts that took place in the 90s and thousands. So I understand with that background why like people within the community may be reluctant to talk about the more negative aspects of body modification, because like then it kind of maybe sort of gives credence to those people who say stupid, like, when you get old, it's gonna look bad. It's like, I'm gonna be old. Like, my skin is not gonna look good when I'm old. It doesn't matter if there's tattoos on it. It probably make it look cooler if there's wrinkles and tattoos, instead of just wrinkled skin. Yeah, whole other video, whole other conversation, like I said. But those types of negative perspectives, like, I don't, to be clear, I do not want to necessarily give space to those, because a lot of it is ignorant, and kind of traditional mindsets from the past that need to be left in the past. So, I don't necessarily want to encourage it, but I do think we need to talk about, again, what happens when things go wrong with tattoos. And I guess with that, I'll get into my story. So my tattoo horror story started in the 2000, I want to say 13 or 14-ish era. I may be kind of forgetting exactly when, but around that time, almost mid-teen thousands. I don't know what to call that era. It's a weird time. And I'd only had one tattoo at that point. It was this one. It was my first tattoo. And I was going for my second tattoo, and I wanted like a big chest piece to kind of, I think I just graduated or finished undergrad, and I wanted to celebrate, having survived that part of my life, because it was a lot. I went through so much, and there were a lot of times where I didn't think I was going to make it, and I did, so I was proud of myself. And it wasn't a job I liked, but I did have a job at the time, and I wasn't earning a ton. I wasn't earning near enough, but I had enough that I saved up, and I wanted to get a second tattoo to kind of celebrate overcoming adversity, all of that, And I decided, okay, I'm going to get a chest piece. I want a dragon and a phoenix, one on each side. I drew what I wanted, which was, I'm not a terrible drawer, but like, I'm not a professional either. So like, I did what I could. And what I essentially wanted was just kind of a minimalist version, like very light. I don't think I wasn't necessarily going for feminine, but just like very light, line work sort of stuff. And when I went to the specific shop, which I still haven't decided if I want to name them or the artist that, fucked up my chest, but that's a whole, we can save that for later. Bonus content. I don't know. But yeah, I picked my shop, and it was a reputable shop. I picked my artist. He was supposedly, legit, all the things. I did my research, and like, in hindsight now, I know there are things I could have asked and should have asked, and like, just maybe done a little bit more research or trusted my gut and realized like this wasn't the right artist for me to go with, because I did feel like I don't feel like you understand my vision, and like, that's fine, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just like, when you're working with a tattoo artist, you want them to get what you're going for, even if it takes a lot of description, a lot of like trying. You want them to understand. And when I met with this guy, he was just like, he did not get it, but he was like, sure, I'll do it. And that was red flag number one, at least. That like, we were clearly not on the same page in terms of what I was looking for, and he changed the idea of my tattoo, which is allowed. That is a thing that tattoo artists are allowed to do and should do to suit their client and suit their skills. Like, that's not where he went wrong, but what I ended up with was very different from what I had initially wanted. And when I saw his design, I was down for it, because I thought it did look pretty cool at the time, although like, obviously it had its issues, but at least in terms of the line work, in terms of how it looked on the paper, great job. And like, based on his repertoire of work, everything seemed okay. And I think like The main red flag that I noticed the day of, first of all, I went with someone that I no longer associate with and am no longer friends with. And so that kind of just cements the fact that, like, everything about my experience was wrong, and that I needed to listen to myself, and listen to my gut / heart, etc. But again, you only know what you know in the moment, you know? So went in, had that person with me, and I came in, I'm excited, you know, I'm getting my tattoo, best day, you know? And I think, like, within 15 minutes of me coming in, and, like, before he even sets up, the guy goes out to smoke a cigarette. Red flag 2 at this point. Not necessarily him smoking or being a smoker, like, that's besides the point, really. But the fact that, like, I just got there, and actually, that wasn't necessarily the red flag. Because, like, if you're a smoker, if you're an artist and you smoke, like, I do want you to get your fix before you do my tattoo, because, like, I do not want you jittery as like, you know, like, get yourself sorted, do whatever you got to do before you start my tattoo. That's what I want for my art, for anyone that works on me. Like, I want you rested, ready, and all set, you know? So do what you got to do. That's not my, like, that actually wasn't the problem. The first time he went out, actually fine. It was the second and then the third time. He may have even gone out a fourth. I honestly don't remember. But, like, he took a lot of smoke breaks throughout the tattoo. Like, once he did the first one, he got started, and we did a good chunk. I would say, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half into it or whatever, he was like, I gotta take another smoking break. Which, you know, you do need to take breaks throughout the tattoo, both you and your artist. So that is allowed. I'm not trying to sound like a customer that's like, oh, you have to stay with me and you have to do my tattoo from start to finish, and, like, if you don't, like, I'm gonna sue you and be a Karen, you know? Like, that's not my vibe, you know? But it's just notable to me that, like, I've had other tattoo artists that smoke cigarettes, and usually they almost feel bad, like, asking for a cigarette break. And it's a notable difference now that I have more experience in the body mod community, that, like, for artists that smoke or whatever need a break in general, they're not, I mean, it is expected for your artist to take a break. Like I said, like, it's kind of, you need them to be on their A game, whatever they need to do to be there. You gotta let them. But it's another thing if you're just, like, taking breaks constantly. Like, that's a waste of your time as an artist and the customer's time. And just based on, like, my overall experience, there were red flags. Those were the red flags that, like, he just kept kind of getting up. And it wasn't like a twitchy or, you know, type of thing. It was just, at least I don't think so. It was just, you know, notable. Like, I noted it and kind of filed it away. But eventually, I think it took 5 hours, which is pretty standard for a big piece. It might even have been a bit rushed, if anything. And so I get the tattoo, and I'm feeling great. I'm tired as fuck, of course. I think by that time, I hadn't taken a break to eat. So I was starving and, you know, tired. Like, my body basically felt like it had gotten beaten up. So yeah, anyway, you know, tattoo gets wrapped, I get sent home, and I'm feeling great for the rest of the evening. Tattoo looks great, and it doesn't feel great, but, you know, tattoos generally don't feel great for the first day or at least a couple of weeks when you get them. Like, it's more like a delayed gratification thing, right? So, you know, I'm sore, I'm tired, but I'm not concerned, because, like, that's pretty standard, right? It wasn't really until, I think, like, the next couple of days, I noticed, like, like, I know swelling and bleeding or, you know, plasma leakage and, you know, all of that is part of the process, but I'm like, this seems really swollen and irritated, like, my skin, and I'm not sure that's, like, okay. But, you know, I do what I do in terms of aftercare for the first week. Like, a week later, I was at work and I was showing a coworker, And I'll never forget this. Like, I showed him the tattoo and I was so happy, and he grimaced seeing it. He was like, oh, what happened? And that's not ever the response you want. Oh, hey, baby. Are you joining us? Oh my God, she's joining us. Baby, you want to say hi? Hi. Which with their black cat, you can't beat that combo, right, babe? Hey. Yeah. Like, for more cat content. Thanks for helping me out. Thanks for the assist, baby. I think she might just chill there for a bit, so I'm gonna just keep going. So, yeah. The guy reacted, and, like, you never want to, like, show someone a body modification or, any part of your body, and the reaction is, like, brother, like, that's not the reaction you ever want. So, and I remember him asking, like, what's wrong with it? And at that point, like, I had, like, an inkling something was going wrong with the healing process, because, like, things didn't feel right. It was very different from my first experience. But, every tattoo can be a little different, depending on where it is on your body and, like, your body, your skin, a lot of factors, millions of factors, right? So I didn't really have enough tattoo knowledge, because, again, this was my second tattoo, that, like, something was wrong, but I had a feeling, because it just wasn't looking good. It was very dry. It looked irritated, and, he commented on it, and I think I, like, made an excuse in the moment or whatever, and he was like, oh, okay. But, like, you could tell he was like, because it didn't look good. And I think I even remember, like, because I was on Tumblr at the time, because who wasn't? I think I posted a picture of just, like, the chest area. Thankfully, I had the presence of mind not to include my face, but it was, like, the chest area, and, I don't know what specific blog, but, like, basically a shitty tattoo blog, that may be the name of it, like, got a hold of the picture and, like, started blogging it. People started commenting. People were like, that looks infected. One person said, like, it looks like someone took on my chest area, and that's, again, like, not something you want to hear someone say about what's supposed to be artwork on your body. Like, that's pretty fucking far from what you want to hear. So I think, like, at that point I was like, all right, something's wrong. Like, I gotta go back to this artist. I think I emailed him first and was like, hey, I seem to be having some sort of reaction. Something's going on. And, I think he told me to come into the shop so he could, like, physically look at it, because, like, I probably didn't feel comfortable sending a picture, or maybe I did, I don't remember. But, I go in and I show him, and he's just, like, almost blank-faced, like, did you put something on it? And I was like, no. Like, I think I was using jojoba oil at the time instead of, like, the Aquatat. I had to look, because it's, like, on my shelf on my nightstand over there, but, like, I didn't have, like, an Aquaphor or Aquatat at the time, so, like, I think I was using jojoba oil, which is not, like, I think, like, nowadays, like, tattoo artists generally say, like, stay away from oil, but, like, at the time, like, I'm pretty sure I looked it up on Google, and it said, like, that would be fine. Or I may have been using, like, Vaseline and a little bit of jojoba, but, like, again, nothing that should have caused a reaction like that, right? Like, so it's interesting that he's victim blaming, first of all. He immediately was like, did you do something to it? Because, like, I guess as a tattoo artist, that can be, like, a common response. A lot of times, or I should say as a body mod, like, my cat's back. A lot of times, like, when people get things like piercings, they won't take care of it, and then they'll go back to the artist and be like, this is something you did, and the artist is like, no, I did my part, you had to do yours, which was to take care of and keep the area clean, etc., and you failed at that. So, like, I understand if you're providing body modification, like, that is going to be your first question, but I didn't like the implication that I had done something wrong when, like, yes, I'm a noob to the tattoo world, or I was at the time, but, like, I also I'm not stupid. I'm not, like, gonna put, like, I was gonna say baking soda. I'm not gonna put like hydrogen peroxide on a tattoo because I know, or like any body modification, because I know that's not what you're supposed to do. So I kind of resented the implication that like I had done something wrong. And he just basically was like, yeah, I don't know why that happened. That's crazy. He was basically like, he literally threw me a, that's crazy. You know, like now, and even at the time I was like, what do you mean? Like, you did, like, this is your work. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But I was like, okay, clearly this guy is not gonna offer anything helpful. He didn't even like have a suggestion for like what I should do. Which, like, for anyone who is in the situation, like, let's say you did get a couch tattoo, or you're doing it yourself or whatever, or you do go to a professional place and your skin is in the condition that mine was, which my situation was, the tattoo artist overworked the skin. I'll explain more on that a little bit later. But yeah, like if you're in that situation, the first step you should do is make an appointment with a dermatologist, hopefully one that you've been seeing already. Or if you can't like go to if it's a really serious situation, if you're dealing with swelling or like the tattoo feels hot, it's like leaking, I don't know what color fluid, but like if it's like leaking, oozing shit, and like it looks infected, you should probably go to a hospital before you go to a dermatologist. If that's where if your situation is that dire, like you need to go to an ER. But if it's just a situation of, well, I shouldn't say just, but if it's a situation of your skin is overworked and irritated and whatever, and it's not like actively bleeding or like pussing up or anything, like go to a dermatologist and speak with them first, because to explain very simply, like for every part of the body there is a doctor or a field of science and medicine to study that part of the body, right? And the skin is no different. It's easy to forget because like most of our organs are like inside our bodies and whatnot, but like the skin is the largest organ on the body, and it is an organ. It is something that like requires specialists to check it out and make sure everything's okay, and to be looked at. So yeah, if you are in a situation where any sort of scarring, any sort of like serious, deeper than just a regular cut situation in terms of body mod, if you're bleeding, if you have an infection, if you're bleeding or have an infection, like I said, go to an ER or go to like a medical doctor first to like get that dealt with before you go to a dermatologist. But if you're dealing with anything scarring, skin condition related, like you have to see a dermatologist. And like as an American who is very, very afraid of what the future holds in the next week or so, I don't want to talk about it. I know like our healthcare system is not great, getting even more not great every day, but if you have insurance, and even if you don't, like if you're dealing with something this serious, like you have to see a dermatologist. That is kind of like part of, like they will do the work to help you, and it is a worthy investment to look into that. So I do what I did, which was to go see a dermatologist and have them guide like what the steps you need to take are. So I did end up seeing a dermatologist, and she didn't really she didn't know the term overworked or like overworking the skin, because it wasn't really even thrown around that much in the tattoo community at the time. Like it took a long time for me to find out that that's what the term for what happened to my skin was. If you have overworked skin, or if your tattoo has been overworked, basically what that means is the artist has either used like the thicker, bigger needles and like pressed too hard into your skin and like basically turned it into chopped meat. That's like the best description I can give of what my skin looked like. I am gonna like include pictures of what my skin looked like at different points in this video. Yeah, like it was just if your skin is like looking chopped up like ground meat, it's probably been overworked, and that generally means the artist was just way too heavy-handed, like literally carving that shit into your body. And that's not supposed to happen. Like tattoos hurt. It's not going to be a painless process. There are areas of the body that hurt less, but it is like, it's gonna hurt. So it can be hard to tell in the moment, is your skin being overworked? Because you're in pain either way when you're getting a tattoo. You may not notice, like, oh, they're going hard. Unless you've had a lot of tattoos and have that experience and know, like, that guy's going ham, So you may not know in the moment, but, like, you will absolutely know after, once your skin is like, I'm in danger, basically. And when I saw the dermatologist, she told me, first, I had to do with the dermatologist cortisone shots into my skin, which is why you can't just, like, deal with overworked skin on your own. Like, I mean, you can massage, you can use certain oils. I think, like, Mederma and stuff like that, scar gels are good. But, like, if you're dealing with the level of what, like, I was dealing with, that's not gonna be enough. Especially given the area of the chest is very delicate skin-wise. It's not, like, the thickest skin. So, like, when something like that gets chopped up, like, the way mine was, like, it's hard to get it back to, like, where it was. And, like, my skin to this day is not back to, like, where it was when I got that tattoo. But it is, like, a lot smoother to the point that it doesn't feel as bumpy. It doesn't feel like a topography map. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the topography part right, but, like, the maps where, like, it has the ridges and the bumps and everything, the globe, I mean. So, my skin doesn't feel like that as much. It feels a lot smoother, and that is because I got the cortisone shot. And it does hurt. It's directly into the skin. It's, like, the size of the tattoo area, which mine was pretty big, and, or is pretty big, so it was a lot, but it helped deal with the swelling, deal with the immediate reaction, and yeah, like, that was a big part of dealing with the immediate after effect. So the cortisone shots, I don't remember how long I was doing that for, but it was, I would say, probably about a year, if not most of the year. It was a multiple, like, repeating process of, like, going back and getting the cortisone shots and then letting it heal, dealing with the reaction, the fallout, and then coming back and getting more. And then after I got the okay from the dermatologist, I started going for laser removal sessions, because as part of, like, working with the dermatologist and, like, doing more research about what happened, I learned that, I don't know if this is the case now, but at the time, like, the FDA does not regulate tattooing, and at the time meant, like, this tattoo, the black vine, or, stem part of the vine, that was done with Black India ink, and I didn't find this out until, like, I again reached out to the tattoo artist and asked her questions about, what was in the ink, because I was trying to find out, like, why the reaction was so bad. And my dermatologist, we ended up doing a skin test, and it turned out that I was allergic to several metals and preservatives that I wasn't aware of. Now, one I was aware of, I have not a severe nickel allergy, but I can't wear, like, nickel jewelry. I can't touch nickel. I get contact dermatitis, and it just becomes a nightmare. So, like, cheap earrings, like, I have to be a bougie bitch about my jewelry, because I can't just buy costume jewelry or just buy, Forever 21 jewelry. That's a throwback, holy shit. But because, like, it's usually made, cheap jewelry is usually made with nickel or, similarly cheap, easy to use and utilize metals, and it causes issues for me, so I don't wear that. So I was aware of the nickel allergy, but I didn't know, like, I'm also apparently allergic to cobalt, and so in tracking down, like, what was used in the inks in my tattoos, I found out for my chest piece that not only did it have nickel in it, it also had cobalt in it, specifically the red and green colors, and possibly the black. I don't remember at this point, but, like, basically nickel and cobalt were the heavy metals in my tattoo ink that was used on my chest. And, like, the company does say, like heavy metals are in the ink, or it does say on the bottle. But, like, what the fuck does heavy metals mean? Like, I didn't know at the time, like, okay, you're saying heavy metals, like, that could have been arsenic. It's not, but, like, heavy metals is so generic and vague. It doesn't convey, like, this could give you a problem other than, like, the fact that, yeah, heavy metals generally aren't good for us. Yeah, like, I wouldn't have thought at the time, oh, heavy metals, I should look into what that means and, like, dig and figure that out for myself. Because, like, I just wanted a tattoo. I didn't know, like, ink wasn't federally regulated at the time. So, finding all this out and realizing, like, oh, not only was my skin overworked, I had an allergic reaction to heavy metals that I'm allergic to being injected into my skin. And that caused a lot of the issues that I saw with my skin after the tattoo. And, like, I can't necessarily blame the tattoo artist for that, because, like, again, I don't think anyone at the time was like vegan ink is the standard mostly now, but at the time, like, vegan ink was just kind of for the vegans, and it was just, like, not many shops had it. Like, a few did, but it wasn't that common. So, you know, this wasn't, like, part of the conversation of, you know, getting tattoos. It was just kind of like, yeah, you get the ink and it's fine. Which is why I have such an issue with places like Temu and Amazon selling tattooing, and, like, in a place where people, mainly teenagers, children, can just order that and have access to tattoo ink and tattoo needles, because, like, you don't know what the fuck is in the Temu ink. But, like, I can guarantee you it's probably not good. It's probably not vegan ink, and it's probably, even if it is, it's probably not, like, quality shit, because it's on Temu. If it were, it wouldn't be on Temu. So, like, I have issues. I know, like, I don't want to sound like a grandpa, but I have issues with, like, the youths that, you know, go on the TikToks and YouTube and, like, post videos of themselves, like, tattooing themselves or piercing themselves. A, because they're children, they shouldn't be doing that, but also because, like, you don't know the harm that you could be doing, like, especially in America where our healthcare system is bullshit. Like, this simple, like, silly little, I'm gonna do a tattoo, la la la, that can fuck up your whole future and your game. Like, your whole game, your whole stride could be fucked up just because you just decided to tattoo yourself or get a tattoo in a less than sanitary condition. Like, so, I mean, I think that's part of why, like, I wanted to start this channel and, like, start making content around, like, conversations about body modification, because, like, I get it, like, you don't know what you don't know, and hindsight is 20/20, all of that. But, like, it also helps if someone is out there telling you about their experiences, so that you can be like, hey, or they can be like, hey, this is what I went through, and I don't want that for you. Like, do what you can to avoid, don't do what I did, essentially, you know? So that is kind of the mindset I am bringing with this video, right? And, again, what nobody in the tattoo industry or, like, body mod community tells you is how fucking painful it is to remove tattoos. Like, the tattoo itself, getting the tattoo, is painful, depending, again, where on your body you're getting it, but generally, you're gonna feel it. But tattoo removal is, like, 1,000 times worse, and the closest I can come to describing it is, like, you know when you're frying bacon or, like, frying anything, and, you know, maybe you get a splash of water in the pan, or, like, you put the food in the pan and it starts, like, splashing and, like, you know, all of that, and, like, maybe a drop of oil lands on your hand or somewhere on you, and you're like, ah, oh my god, you know, and it kind of startles you, and it, like, burns, hot, but it's, like, it's worse than, like, a burn. Like, hot oil on the skin, oh god, it's oh fuck, it's bad. It does not feel good. And that is the closest I can come to describing how getting your skin, your tattoo lasered feels. It feels like you're getting, like, splashes of bacon grease or, like, hot oil all over wherever the laser is going. And the laser is, like, depending on the size of the type, it's either pretty small, like, so it only, like, covers a certain Like, it only gets to a certain area. So, like, if you have a large tattoo, even if you have if you have this type of tattoo, getting that is gonna hurt, especially, like, this area. But, even a small tattoo like this is gonna hurt a lot. You're gonna feel it. Imagine, like, a surface area of skin that is a lot. There's a lot of it, and it's like, my tattoos were about the size of, like, my hands, where my hands are covering. So imagine, like, getting specifically, like, drops of oil, hot oil, like, all over, like, multiple times for, like, I don't know, maybe 15 to 30 minutes on the area. It does not feel good. And, like, I was able to get through the sessions, and I did, I would say, probably about at least 5, if not more. And, you know, I got through it okay. Like, I didn't cry necessarily. Not that that's, like, you're allowed to cry. I'm not the crying police. But, like, it wasn't so bad that I was, like, sobbing, but it was memorably, indelibly bad pain-wise. Like, I felt a lot of bad pain. Like, I had a herniated disc in my back, my lower back, and I know what pain feels like. That was unbearable pain, and getting my tattoo removed was just also a level of unbearable pain that, like, nobody really prepares you for, at least in the body mod community. Like, nobody really talks about how painful it is, but, like, I'm here to tell you that hurts. But I got through it. I did, like I said, I think 5 to 7 sessions, something like that. And what that did was help kind of, well, get rid of the colors, because, like, my tattoo had a lot of black in it. It was just solid black, so it helped kind of help break up the molecules of the ink, and help my skin push more of the ink out, which helped, you know, get rid of the fact that, like, this ink with heavy metals in it is in my skin, and now it's, like, slowly but surely getting pushed out. It helped with at least the appearance of the tattoo, because it wasn't good. It just really wasn't. So slowly but surely, the tattoo started to fade, and it actually got to a point where I was just wearing it as it was, after the cortisone shots and the tattoo removal, for years, because I didn't have the money to get a cover up. Like, jobs were not great in that time period, and still aren't, but I was doing what I could to take care of my skin, you know, seeing the dermatologist when I could, and, like, getting feedback. And then eventually, I would say, like, maybe 5 years into the horror story, I got the okay from my dermatologist that I could get a cover-up if I was ready, and, like, found a good artist. So I dusted off my research glasses, did a lot of work to find someone that A, could do a cover-up and, like, immaculately do a cover-up, and B, could work with skin that, you know, had been overworked and had dealt with trauma. So I eventually did find an artist in my city who, I don't know if I should be name dropping or not, but she did an amazing job on my cover-up, and again, I'll post it. But even to this day, like, I want to say, like, maybe 3, almost 4 years down the road, and the tattoo still looks great. I may need to, like, at some point add some white, or, like, have her add white to some areas of it. It still looks great, and it's withstood, at least thus far, the test of time. But even getting to that point, like, after going through something like what I did with the first artist, it took a lot to trust another artist to understand my trauma, and, like, even my experience with the cover-up wasn't perfect, but it had less to do with the tattoo itself. You know, I was able to get tattoo redemption, in a sense, where, like, I don't feel ashamed of my tattoo anymore. I don't regret it, and I learned, I would have liked to not have had to go through this lesson, but I learned a lot, and it's helped me to gain more wisdom about just body modification and just like listening to myself. A lot of life lessons were learned in general. So I hope that by me sharing this story, it's helpful to the community. It's helpful for anyone who's in this situation. Because, like, if you are in this situation, I know it sucks. Like, I've literally been there. I know it fucking sucks. So, hey, baby. Wow, that was crazy. Like, I know this is not an easy storm to weather, but, I am here to tell you that you can. I can't guarantee that you'll have as high a success rate as I have, but, you know, if you do the steps where you work with a dermatologist, you find a good laser removal artist or you know, place to get laser removal done, legitimate place, obviously, again, do your research. The main bullet point lesson of this video should be do your fucking research. And don't just do research that confirms your thinking, like, do the comprehensive research to make the right choices for yourself. Yeah, like, I want to encourage anyone that is going through this, like, you can get through this, you can see the other side of it. It may take a long time, it's not going to be immediate, I'm not going to lie, but it is doable. It is, depending on your situation. I don't know it personally, but you can have a happier ending than you thought. Like when you first started the tattoo horror journey, but like it doesn't have to be the end, you know. And yeah, like that's mainly the message I want to put out there. If you're a tattoo artist that like people are coming back from you and you're scarring people, like, that is not okay. I know, like, there's a learning process, and like I've never tattooed anyone, not even myself, so I can't speak to how hard. I know it's difficult to like be a good tattoo artist. If it weren't difficult, there would be billions, and there aren't billions of good, amazing tattoo artists. There are a lot of good artists. There's a lot of great, even, and like amazing artists, but it's not everyone who's a tattoo artist is amazing or even good sometimes. So that's the other thing I definitely want people to take away from this. Like, do your research, and like, just because your tattoo is done in a shop doesn't mean that shop is good, doesn't mean that artist is good or good for you, for your needs. You know, you have to find what works for you and what is going to set you up for success, and not every shop or tattoo artist will. So trust your instincts is the other thing I definitely want to emphasize. All right, this took way longer than I thought it would or planned it would. I got my work cut out for me in terms of editing, but I'm gonna wrap up by saying, if you have a tattoo horror story or like body modification, anything horror story, if you're a tattoo artist and you got, I know you got tea, bro, or ma'am, or neither, neither, or both. All pronouns and whatnot are accepted here. But yeah, like, if you got stories that you want to tell me, you can DM me either. I guess, I don't know if YouTube has a DM system, but like, I will drop my socials. You can reach out to me there. You can follow me on my IG and my socials. Basically, don't make me tap the sign. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with posting. I know I promised that last time, but you know, life got in the way. So I will do my best to like post again multiple times before the year ends, but we are coming to that time of the year, and I want to hear from you guys. Anyone is watching, I know it's not a ton of you, but like, that doesn't matter to me. I'm not a size queen that much anyway. But yeah, if you like what you saw, you know what to do. And like I said, socials will be posted. Hit me up with those horror stories, or if you just want to say hi, that's always welcome too. Yeah, and I'll see you in the chat, or the comments. I don't know why I said chat. The comments. I'll see you in the comments and in the next video. Bye, and have a spooky Halloween.